Hi, Trevor back for Alan's Music Centre on the Hobby Organist channel, and today I'm in front of an Lowrey organ that we don't feature very often on these videos. I think this is the first time we've had the fanfare on here. As I say, this is the Lowrey Fanfare. I've been waiting actually to have one of these come in because it's a cracking organ. It's one of the newer designs of organs. It's an E-series, but it's a wonderful small cabinet, very contemporary looking, very modern looking organ. And the reason why I've been wanting to have one of these organs is because there's a particular tip on these organs I love showing with people, which is a brilliant little sort of surprise. I always think one of the best tips is when you discover something that is not in the book and something that is feels like you're getting a real bonus. So this is a great feature. So the fanfare, as it sits, has a large number of styles. Which we're used to selecting with these blue buttons. In fact, we can press country and go through 6 different variations of country, and that gives us a very large selection of rhythms. But the amazing thing is on the fanfare is that the Lowrey engineers discovered that when they designed the organ there was a room for lots of extra styles, but they didn't have room to put them on the buttons. And so there are a number of additional styles inside the fanfare that you can't get to by pressing the buttons. And so this little hint and tip is a way of finding and using those extra styles. And the way that we find them is via the song setup feature. So just below the middle of the screen and the middle of the organ, in the middle of the screen, there's a button called song setup. And we press that button, and just like all the other Lowrey organs, it brings up a list of song titles that I can scroll through. And we already know that the way that the song setup feature works is that it won't play these songs to us, but what it will do is set the organ up for what they feel, or Lowrey feel, is the appropriate registration, the right tempo and the right style. Everything is suited to playing that song. So it kind of takes the guesswork out of setting up. And so I've scrolled through here and I've got one here called When the Saints. I'm going to press select and choose that one, and we're going to play When the Saints. Saints. Sounded pretty good, even though I do so for myself. Great style to go with that. Now, so far that doesn't seem particularly remarkable, but what was amazing is that when I selected that When the Saints off the screen, and it's not easy for you to see on this video, but if you do this on your fanfare at home, you'll notice that none of the style lights have actually lit up anymore. Normally when you choose a style, be it standards, country, bag, whichever one you pressed will light up. But in this case, it hasn't lit up. So it's actually selected one of these bonus styles which are in the organ but doesn't have a button. In fact, if we clear the screen, we can see that one is called Razzmatazz, and it's not even listed as being in the book as being one of the styles. And so once that is selected, I can then come down here to the variation buttons, and Razzmatazz is on full band. Under pianist we have 5/4, under guitarist we have swing band. On group 2 we have Sanfran's, pianist we've got strings 101, and guitarist we've got Viennese waltz. So we've actually got 6 different styles there that we didn't have before. We didn't have a button to select them. And so the way that we got them was by going to song setup, choosing When the Saints, and that selected that invisible button as it were, but the variation buttons still work for us. So I can now choose the string band. thing you've got to be careful is now that's pressed the ending button, of course when the ending finishes it automatically turns off any style that's selected, and so even though we had an invisible style selected, that invisible style has now been taken off, so we now can't see them anymore. So if you want them back again, go to Song Setup, choose When the Saints, and then we can go back through these presets. We don't have to play When the Saints, it's just a way of activating that invisible button. So we've got the wonderful San Fran's style. And they still have style setup, so if you press the style setups, there'll be a nice sound to go with it. Go off on all my little tangents now because something just occurred to me while I was playing that song. One of the comments that's come back, and a few people have said this, is why don't we play songs all the way through? Well, there's several reasons. The main reason obviously is for time. We sat here and played all the way through San Francisco. We'll be here for 3 or 4 minutes, and we haven't got time to play every song. And secondly, this is not necessarily about me sitting here and showing off and playing lots of songs. It's about us learning about the organs. But the main reason why I only tend to play 8 or 16 bars of the songs is because that's all I can remember. When you're an organ demonstrator, you very rarely have to play a song all the way through. You just have to play a snippet of it or flavour of it to give the idea of the style and the sound, and then you move on and play something else. Again, if you sat there and played all the way through for every song, people would get quite bored. So you only ever play the first 8 or 16 bars of a song, enough for people to recognise it and get the feel of it. And so, as a demonstrator, I know hundreds of songs for the first 8 bars. Beyond that, I tend to get a bit hazy on the old memory, especially when it comes to the middle 8s. So, a lot of these videos, you'll simply play along and you think, wow, that's incredible, he knows all these different songs, he's never got any music up there, he must be an absolute genius. No, not a genius at all, have as bad a memory as everybody else, but I know the opening to lots of songs. So, sorry to spoil the illusion on that one, but and that's why we generally don't play all the songs, is because we don't remember it all the way through. It'd be a bit messy to have all the music up as well. Anyway, I digress. So, a little bit of homework then, for anybody that owns one of these fanfare organs, is to sit down and go through your song setups. And you'll see some of them will choose a style which is already there. So I've gone to What I Did for Love, and it's got a nice Broadway soliloquy on. But if you go to some of them, let's go to What a Wonderful World, that's found a style. And so the challenge is to go through them all. There, I found one, the Carpenter's one, we've only just begun. And the way that you know you found a magic one, because the style buttons go out. And we go back, and now we can see that it's now on 70s Love Song. And then, of course, we can then go through these variations, and we've got all these extra ones. We've got Chicago Swing, there's the 70s Love Song. Go to Guitarist, you've got Johnny's Chances. Then go to the group 2, and you've got Obla Dee Parker, Dixieland, and Barry Can't Smile. So you've got a bit of Obla Dee, Obla Da. Now, of course, now the style's finished, so the invisible button has gone out, so let's go back to song setup, choose We've Only Just Begun again, even though we're not going to play that, and go back over these variations. Got Barry Can't Smile. So that's one of my favourite hints and tips I think that we've done, because it really is a hidden feature. It's discovering something that is invisible, that's not really there, but we can get to it via these song setups. So as I said, your homework is to sit down, if you've got a fanfare, and go through these and select a song. There we go, Those Were the Days. I found another one. You'll see it doesn't press any of these buttons on, and we've now got the country polka. Before that finishes doing the introduction, another little tangent, and this is a hint that applies, not really a hint actually, it's a revelation really, about all these Lowrey organs. Bill Curry, who writes the styles, as I said many times on these videos, is an absolute genius, and what he creates in these styles is really what is the heart and soul of a Lowrey organ. And every time you press one of these styles and you hear an introduction and ending, that's his musical genius playing. But what he's done is so much work with these styles. And in particular, he has written completely different minor and major introductions for songs and for styles. And no other manufacturer does this. If you sit down at a Yamaha instrument and you use the introduction, you play a major chord, it plays an introduction. If you then just play the introduction with a minor chord, it plays a minor version of the same introduction. It changes some of the notes in it to make it sound minor, but it's still the same introduction. What Bill has written is two completely contrasting introductions and endings. And so again, great bit of homework if you sit down at your Lowrey organ, and me and Tom love doing this, is you choose a style and just listen to the difference in the introductions. And of course, the difference in the introductions leads you into different songs, because songs that start with a minor chord are going to be a very different kind of song that starts with a major chord. So when I start that country polka, and obviously I play a minor chord because I'm going to play Those Were the Days, and that starts with A minor. If I take the same style and just press the introduction button, and this time start with a major chord, I'm going to get a completely different introduction, and it completely changes the feel of the style. Digression there. So have a play through all the styles that you know, and play the minor and the major introductions, and the endings will match as well. Absolutely brilliant. So what else do we have on here? We've even got the classic western. Again, this is an invisible button. And no two bars of that one. Bojangles, Cat Memories, Classic Beach. Memories there for and listen to the introduction again on this one. To the end. So all those styles would be there to go with these song setups. So I'm not saying that the styles which you couldn't have already accessed via the song setup, but once you've selected them with the song setup, you can then play any song you want with them once you've got your gateway into it pressing the invisible button for you. And of course that's something that applies to all of the song setups on any Lowrey Organist. If you find a song setup you like and you like the setting that it doesn't necessarily mean you have to play that song with it. You know, the police aren't going to come knock on your door and say, hang on a minute, you're not playing the right song with that song setup. You can play whatever you want with it. If you like it, just play it, a song. And a lot of people, if they can't find the song they're looking for in the song setup, of course you can think of a song that's similar and maybe see if that song's in there. So it's a great little button there, and maybe we don't focus it enough on the Lowrey's, the song setup, and especially on this fanfare. So I hope that all makes sense. If anybody who owns a fanfare wants to write in and say how many extra stars they found, it would be interesting to know what the number is above and beyond the number that the Lowrey say they have. And keep your emails and comments coming in. It's great having all the suggestions. I think Tom's going to do one that's more musically based as well soon, all about chords and things. And we're going to do a couple of changes to the channel as well. We didn't realise really when we started that we would end up having so many videos on there, and so it's become it seemed like fun at the beginning to name them day 1, day 2, day 3 and so forth. I actually realised that that's completely pointless, because the way that YouTube presents the videos to you is you can't actually see what the description is until you've actually clicked on the video. So it then makes it impossible to choose what video you want to watch if you want to go back and revisit a favourite one. So Tom's going to have to go through and get rid of all of the silly banners we have that just show this big day thing. We're just going to stick with a picture of me at the organ, so it gives you a hint as to what we're going to be doing. And we're going to rename them so they're not just named day 1, day 2. It's got a bit pointless really counting the days now. They will actually say in the title what that video is about. So it should be easier for you to go back and use them as a reference point in the future. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed the 9 to 5 that we put on earlier. Bit of fun. And they say any fanfare owners, you can have great fun with that feature now. And take care, and I hope you're all keeping safe and well, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you.